Give me Kyle or I.
Let me just go ahead and say, when
did you call Hendrick?
I just texted him just a minute ago. I just texted him again just a minute ago. And that's a hard question. I think that's a hard question. And obviously, that organization has somebody in mind. You don't let a guy go and make a change with a caliber driver that Casey Mears is without having somebody in mind. But I think a lot of people are still speculating on what Tony Stewart's going to do, and we could stand here all day long and speculate on what Tony Stewart's going to do.
Wait a minute, Rick is texting me right now.
No. Rick can't be texting you.
I can't tell you.
You know, when Tony had his little media gathering here and hinted, well, the 5 car's open, I wouldn't,
hey,
I might consider.
How about that team? Think about that team.
Oh, man, I didn't think about that. Very good. Marty?
Yeah, that only throws more confusion into the mix, right? Because Tony said in that little media gathering you're talking about, who wouldn't consider the 5 car? Wally, I don't think you're in consideration, though. I'm sorry to tell you, buddy. But I talked to Casey about this morning, about the job openings. He told me he was pleasantly surprised about the amount of time his phone has rang over the last couple of days. See people saying, hey, I might be interested in you driving my car. So I'm pretty positive Casey Mears will be around for a long while here in the Sprint Cup Series. And let me tell you about a few things that maybe played into the decision to leave him out on the racetrack by Alan Gustafson. On that first run, Casey's quote, car is nearly perfect. They only made a half-pound adjustment on that first pit stop. They'll have to pit about lap 150, but I think this was a very good call to gain that track position when you start in the back. Now they're up with the leaders, and they can pit in sequence with them.
Yeah, and I don't think Casey should be surprised that people call him. He's a talented race car driver. He's a young race car driver. He's got a lot of experience.
Heavy traffic here. You have to work them.
At a lot of these places as you hear him talk to him. But at the same time, you know, we keep talking about how many drivers are looking for rides. You got to go back and look at the owners that may be looking for drivers. Penske may be looking for somebody if Ryan leaves. You look at Gibbs, maybe looking for somebody if Tony leaves. So these guys are obviously going to call and touch base with a guy of the caliber of Casey Mears and say, hey, don't do anything until you talk to me, and let's talk at some point in time when I see where I'm going to be.
He's in a better situation now because there is movement. There's been years where there isn't any movement.
Yeah.
Everybody's tied in for 3 years or 4 years.
Yeah, when the music stops and there's no chair to set in,
right,
that's a bad time.
Yeah.
Right now, the music's not stopped and there's plenty of chairs out there.